Trunks has to come to terms with the fact that he's stuck in the past. But after living here for a few years, he's grown somewhat adjusted to it. And even with the androids out of the way, they face a new challenge. We'll be exploring that more in this third part of What If Trunks Was Trapped in the Past. As everyone leaves the tournament, the Kais go more into detail about who Babidi is and what he's trying to do here. And now that they're with Trunks, they're trying to remember who he is because they don't exactly know anything about him. But then it hits Shin. He remembers. There was someone who messed with time, someone on Earth who isn't supposed to be here. They don't bring it up just at the moment, although it doesn't really sit right with Kibito. Mainly because they don't want to cause any problems and because Trunks could actually help out here. Having another strong fighter on their side would be great. He does seem pretty battle smart too. All of them do actually. Although it does make Shin wonder what caused him to be trapped here. It's dangerous to mess with technology that messes with time, and this is proof of that. It's punishment enough that he's stuck here. They arrive at Babidi's ship, watching Spopovich and Yamu die. They think they're covert, but of course they're noticed. Dabura is then sent out to fight them, immediately going to try and attack Kibito, but the second he's about to, Trunks hops in front of him and starts to fight Dabura on his own, powering up into Super Saiyan 2 to fend him off. Kibito definitely wouldn't have been able to react in time. So it's a good thing Trunks saved him. Already, he's making a pretty good impression on the Kais. Shin warns Trunks about what Dabura is capable of doing, and also says to try and make the fight quick. The quicker it is, the better, because Babidi's gonna get more energy the longer it goes on. Trunks says that's fine with him. He planned on doing that anyways. While he's fighting this guy, he tells them to go into the ship. So they all go ahead, starting to fight through Babidi's minions. And as Babidi watches them get closer and closer to him, he's pretty unsure of what to do now. They're making their way down here pretty quickly, and he did get some energy for Boo, but only about 30% because Trunks was suppressed when it got taken. And the fact that he broke free so quickly. It makes him realize Trunks would be a great target for getting more energy. But he's not in the ship at the moment. He's busy with Dabura, and that fight is really going in his favor. Babidi's gonna have to think outside the box. Why not try getting another minion? Surely someone here has some sort of evil in their heart that he could exploit. And he does have two targets who he tries this on. First, Piccolo, who's pretty susceptible due to never fusing with Kami. But at the same time, it's Piccolo. First of all, he has no reason to be tempted by the power, and he definitely would be able to resist this. When it happens, it sets off red flags for everyone else. But Piccolo makes it out fine. Vegeta's the next target. And the same thing pretty much happens with him. Goku's alive here, and he also has future Trunks in his life. I'd like to think he had plenty of opportunities to fight Goku. Plus, as we'll get into later, his life has a newfound purpose thanks to Trunks being there. Of course, there's present Trunks too. He basically has two sons, and with future Trunks being there, it really helps to jumpstart his development. More of a reason that he wouldn't let Babidi take over him here, resisting him as well. Trust me, I really did try and find a way to make the Buu saga happen here because of how often I usually don't go into it, but as I've also said before, a lot needs to go in Babidi's favor for it to actually happen. And in this scenario specifically, I'd have to either make someone act stupid, or oblivious to what Babidi's doing, or someone would have to get possessed, but I don't think that would happen here. Piccolo has no reason to, and Vegeta especially has no reason to. Plus, it's not like Dabura's fight's gonna give a lot of energy. Trunks would end it pretty quick. Trunks has an advantage in power, and he's pretty no-nonsense with that kind of stuff anyways. But I don't think anyone would get caught off guard by Babidi here either. Gohan's a more refined fighter, Trunks is Trunks, as we covered, and it would be hard to catch Goku or Vegeta off guard here. And even if he did catch someone off guard to steal their power, they have plenty of people around them to help. So, in short, Babidi's pretty screwed. But I was able to at least get something in its place that I think will be more enjoyable, and it doesn't require me to stretch things. And honestly, for what it's worth, if Buu were revived here, I think they'd actually defeat him as is, because Vegeta and Goku wouldn't be fighting each other, and besides Piccolo and Goku, everyone's stronger than normal anyways, because Piccolo hasn't fused and Goku hasn't been training in Otherworld. And they have Trunks as an extra fighter. It would be tough, but I feel their chances against Buu are much better here, and they'd probably find some sort of way to defeat him. Babidi desperately tries everything he can, and even tries to teleport away, which would be a problem if they didn't have the Kais there, because they could just Kai anywhere as well. Babidi even goes to the tournament to try and steal energy there, but he's caught. Thankfully no one actually sees it, but he's killed there, and Shin and Kibito take care of the rest. It's also great because they're back at the tournament, so this makes things better for them. They weren't gone for too long, and they could actually resume the tournament. So let's skip ahead a bit. All the way to the semifinals. The first match in the semifinals is Vegeta versus Trunks. Already a pretty insane match. Both are looking forward to this, especially Vegeta. The two immediately go all out in Super Saiyan 2, and Vegeta expects Trunks to use everything he's learned. He really wants to see how much he's grown over these past few years. Mainly because over that time skip, he's trained a lot with Vegeta. Of course, he has experience with Goku too. And however this goes, Vegeta would be pleased. Either Vegeta wins and gets to go to the finals, or Trunks beats him, and it proves that Vegeta's training has been working for Trunks. So Vegeta's pretty content going into this. Even if he loses here, he still wins in a way. Over the past few years, he's focused less on catching up to Goku, and more on building himself and Trunks up without a specific goal in mind. Same for present Trunks too. He can't be in this division of the tournament though, which kind of irks him because he wanted to fight his future self. We will be seeing more of him in the future parts too, but for now, he has to decide who to cheer for. His father or his future self. Probably his future self. In this battle, Vegeta's definitely the more experienced fighter, but Trunks is definitely going to be the stronger one. Vegeta's noted that he grows really quickly, probably due to him being a hybrid Saiyan. And because of the gap in experience, Vegeta can actually note some flaws in Trunks' performance, albeit small, It's also rare where Trunks is in a serious battle against an opponent like Vegeta, someone who's so quick to think and fights with such passion. Vegeta expects Trunks to treat this like a serious battle, as serious as Trunks can get without trying to kill his opponent. And Trunks does take it seriously, knowing Vegeta especially. But Vegeta also takes it as an opportunity to try and teach Trunks some more. Amidst the fight, he does exploit Trunks' shortcomings, but Trunks also tries to adapt to it, without Vegeta flat out telling him what's going wrong there. There are some moments where he points out a flaw in Trunks' abilities, with Trunks quickly correcting it, but Vegeta doesn't mean to give his opponent the edge. He's just so used to having a teaching role with Trunks that it slips out. But he's glad to see that Trunks is still growing. And he even taunts him at points too, saying his present self does better at some things, trying to get on his nerves and catch him off guard. There's some pretty unique ways he can insult Trunks here, but Trunks doesn't let it get under his skin, and Vegeta's glad that he can keep a cool head. In the end, Trunks ends up winning the match. It definitely wasn't easy at all, but still, his power and adaptability helped him pull ahead, and Vegeta's happy. It shows that he's doing well as a teacher. Although, he hopes Trunks wins the whole thing because next up is Goku versus Gohan, so in the finals he's going to go up against one of them. The fight between Goku and Gohan is pretty similar too, and Goku takes on the same role that Vegeta had, kind of trying to teach Gohan during the fight as well. Goku's raw skill helps him keep up with Gohan, but Gohan's definitely grown in the past few years. He didn't have the year in the time chamber, and also it took him longer to access Super Saiyan 2, because the whole thing with Cell didn't happen. But you also have to remember, Gohan got Super Saiyan earlier on. He had better training over the 3-year time skip before the androids, and over the past 7 years, Goku's been around and Trunks has been around too. So I would say he's stronger than his canon self, but more importantly, he also has much more experience than his canon self. Granted, he wasn't training a ton, definitely not to the level of Goku or Vegeta, but still, more often than he did in canon, which helps him be a more technical fighter, a more skilled fighter, a more adaptable fighter. And in this matchup, he barely wins against Goku. And Goku's glad to see that. He's still not on Goku's level in terms of experience and skill, but the gap in power helped make up for that, and he still is pretty skillful as a warrior here. So even though the final matchup isn't Goku versus Vegeta, in a way it kind of is Goku versus Vegeta, because it's Gohan versus Trunks. They're sons, they're students. Trunks can't help but think of future Gohan here. It's kind of weird too. Gohan was Trunks' mentor in the future, but in this timeline, Trunks was actually Gohan's mentor here, at least one of his mentors. Not just over that 3-year time skip, but like I said, over the 7-year time skip too. The two very much know what each other's capable of, especially because a lot of the things Trunks learned, it's either from Goku when he came here during the Android Saga, or from Gohan from the future timeline. And who did future Gohan get training from? Piccolo and probably a little bit of Goku, the same stuff that Gohan learned in this timeline. And because of that, the two have oddly similar fighting styles. Sure, there are differences in them, but you have to consider who they're both learning from. The only big difference is that Trunks had Vegeta to learn from. But really, a lot of the stuff he uses is the same stuff that Gohan knows. They share the same techniques, they share some of the same quirks in their fighting, the way they think and act during battle, everything. So despite Gohan having less experience than Trunks and fighting for less time than Trunks too, first of all, I'd say his potential helps him stay in the same league here. He's a bit stronger than Trunks, and Trunks is more experienced than Gohan. But the match is much closer than either of the two beforehand, because despite Gohan having a little bit more power, the two fight very similar and Trunks can actually predict a lot of Gohan's moves. But vice versa too, Trunks' experience really helps him here. And Trunks kinda does what Vegeta did, taking on somewhat of a teacher role here, using some moments to help train Gohan too. Gohan also keeps Goku's teachings in mind. And the two are fighting really evenly. The gap in power is compensated by the gap in knowledge and technique, because Trunks also has like a decade extra of experience. That definitely would help here. And because of the fight being relatively even, it's also a really long fight. But it's also a huge spectacle too. Gohan even tries to make use of his rage here because he hasn't really tapped into that in a while. He's known it's always been there, and so have Goku and Piccolo. Piccolo watches on too, wondering if Gohan's gonna do anything with it. He hasn't seen that in so long. Not since they fought Frieza on Namek. But he's had a lot of trouble with that, and here he can't quite tap into it either. And the fight ends with the two of them punching each other midair. A massive shockwave is sent through the arena, with each of them being launched far outside the arena. And Goku then has a flashback to the 22nd World Tournament. This is the exact thing that happened there. The two knock each other out of the ring, trying not to hit the ground first, but Gohan hits the ground first. Trunks hits the ground next, but he's declared the winner, with Vegeta ecstatic over this, holding this over Goku's head too. And Vegeta's really happy because his sons won twice. Trunks defeated Goten in the junior division, and now Trunks defeated Gohan in this division. Goku's of course still happy though. Gohan did really well there, and he's proud. Plus, the fight was really close too. And besides, Goku never won his first tournament. It took him 3 times to win. Healers need to prepare Gohan for the next one if they end up going to it. The Kais are watching this entire battle, and they recognize that Earth is in good hands. This planet will be fine. They end up going back to their planet. So with the Z portion over, where do we go now? Well, Trunks wonders if he's ever going to get back to his timeline. Obviously by now he's adjusted to being in this timeline, but he still wonders. Every day he thinks about going back there, and what he could do to get back there. And with him working at Capsule Corp, he even takes time to try and work with Bulma, trying to help in any way possible, learning about time travel if he can. But it seems like everything they try, everything they think of, it doesn't work. They spend less and less time on the project. They already barely spend any time on it. Trunks is really the only one focused on it. He studied all the same things as Bulma, trying to get knowledge about it. He now knows the workings of the time machine, how it was able to travel through time, everything. He spent a lot of his free time trying to do this in the past few years. But nothing seems to work. He's accepted that he's probably going to be stuck here, but still, he wants to see if there is a way back. And with him trying to mess with time so much, someone else does take notice. Shin. He teleports in one day to talk to Trunks. He didn't have time to mention this when they were here before, but he thinks it's worth bringing up. He tells Trunks that mortals aren't meant to mess with time like that. It's a huge crime. He also explains what happened with Trunks and how he got stuck here, because he actually took the time to look into it, using what he already knew about time travel, and also what he just learned by researching more of it, trying to learn more about Trunks and how he got here, as well as why he's stuck here. He even takes Trunks to the Sacred World of Kais to explain. Any other god probably would have killed Trunks on the spot, but Shin said he's already faced the consequences by being stuck here, and not to mention he helped against Boo, so he's on Shin's good side. But he does let Trunks know how severely he messed up, and it's good things didn't go any farther. He even shows Trunks the time rings. The Kais are able to travel through time, but to wear this you have to be a Kai, and this only lets you travel to places that already exist. He explains how the time rings work and why there's multiple of them. It's because of Bulma and Trunks, as well as Cell. One of these time rings is actually the timeline Trunks is from, but he's not going to take Trunks there, because even if he went there, he probably wouldn't be stable there, and it might cause more issues bringing him back. The only way it wouldn't cause issues is if he were a Kai and wore the time ring, but that's not possible. He's not a Kai. And Trunks also learned exactly how he got stuck here, with Shin explaining the mechanics of that. But surprisingly, Trunks bows down in front of him, pleading with Shin. Is there any way he could become a Kai? Become an apprentice somehow, protect the timelines. That's all he wants to do. It's a noble cause. And Shin honestly considers it. He's curious of what Trunks is capable of. He could at least be an apprentice, but he's not one of the Kais. Usually the Kais are them, the core people like him and Kibito. It would be unprecedented for someone like Trunks to become a Kai, and it would take a lot of time to do so. But Trunks says he would do anything. He wants to grow stronger, but he also wants to go home. And he can correct his mistakes too as a Kai. This is his only way back, and Shin's left with a choice here. Should he let Trunks become an apprentice? And even if he does, should he let him travel through time like that? As Shin thinks on it, this is where we'll leave off for now. What do you guys think about this part, and what's going to happen next? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel, and it shows me you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.